I used to believe that if I just worked hard enough, if I earned enough, if I stacked enough achievements, then I would finally feel content. That is what so many of us are taught in America. Climb the ladder, buy the house, fill it with things, and then you have arrived. Happiness, at last. But life taught me something different. The more I gained, the more restless I became. It was never enough. There was always another bill, another promotion, another comparison staring back at me. And the strangest part was this. The moments when I felt most satisfied were not when I had the most. They were the moments when I was most present. That realization shook me. It forced me to ask a painful question. Why are most people never truly satisfied? I am 67 years old. I have lived through decades of testing this. I have known lean years. I have known years of abundance. And still, I wrestled with the same emptiness, the same question. Is this all there is? If you have ever looked around your home, your marriage, your job, and thought, is this really it? You are not alone. I have been there. Countless men and women I know have been there too. Friends, in construction, colleagues in business, even strangers who wrote me letters. Stay with me, because in this story, I want to walk you through what I have learned. I want to show you the gap between chasing satisfaction and actually living with purpose. And more importantly, how to step out of that restless cycle. I am not a guru. I am just a carpenter who learned a few things the hard way. I built houses with my hands. I built a family with my choices. Some choices I am proud of. Some I regret. But one pattern was clear. Whenever I lost sight of my values, I felt empty, no matter how full my bank account was. And whenever I leaned into my values, faith, family, work done with integrity, I could breathe again, even when money was tight. Here is the truth. You can have anything you want in life, but you cannot have everything you want in life. That means you must choose. Choose what is essential. Choose what truly matters. That is the foundation of living with intention. Now I can hear the objections. You may say, easy for you to talk. You grew up with a father in the home, and you are right. I did. We lived poor, but my father stayed. That gave me stability. Today it is different. 1 out of every 4 children in America grows up without a father. That is 17.5 million kids. Twice the population of New York City. 4 times the population of Los Angeles. If you are one of those kids, it is not your fault, but it becomes your responsibility to learn to live with intention. Because without it, the world will sweep you away with distractions, with temptations, with false promises. I want you to imagine something. At the end of your life, sitting in a quiet room, you look back. What will matter most? Not the cars, not the promotions, not the size of your house. You will ask one question. Did I become the person I wanted to be? That is what this story is about. Not what you want right now, not short-term cravings, but the person you want to become in the end. So stay with me, because what I share next may not only explain why satisfaction is so elusive, it may also show you the way to something better. And if you find yourself nodding while listening, or maybe shaking your head in recognition, do me one favor. Leave a comment when we are done. Share your own story of chasing satisfaction, or of finding peace, because someone else will read your words, and your honesty may be the encouragement they need. When I look back on my early years, I can still picture our kitchen table. It was small, worn, and often crowded with bills we could not pay. We had little money, but we had structure. We had a father in the home. And, because of that, I grew up with a foundation that kept me steady. Many people today do not have that foundation. They start their lives with absence, with loss, with confusion. And so the search for satisfaction begins with a wound that no amount of money, or success, or status can truly heal. That is the first seed of dissatisfaction. We look outside ourselves to fill what was missing inside. We chase achievements. We collect possessions. We hope the next milestone will be the one that finally makes us whole. But here is the reality. Each milestone is like a mirage in the desert. The closer you get, the further it seems. And once you reach it, the water vanishes, and you are thirsty all over again. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I finally started earning enough to pay the bills, I thought relief would last. But within months, I found myself wanting more. A better truck, a bigger shop, another piece of equipment. The chase never ended. That cycle has a name. Some call it lifestyle creep. It works like this. You reach a level of income that feels like progress. But instead of keeping your life simple, you upgrade. The car, the house, the vacations, and before you know it, every dollar is spoken for again. No savings, no freedom, no peace. I have seen this pattern ruin marriages. I have seen it burn men out in their 50s. I have seen women who sacrificed decades for careers, only to wake up alone with a title that cannot hold them at night. Let me put it plain. Lifestyle is not life. The two are not the same. Lifestyle is about image. Life is about meaning. Lifestyle is about what others can see. Life is about who you are when no one is watching. If you chase lifestyle, you will never be satisfied, because there is always a neighbor with more. There is always a coworker who earns bigger. There is always another gadget, another vacation, another upgrade, waiting to mock what you already have. But if you choose life, if you choose meaning, you can be content with less and still feel whole. I remember a piece of lumber that changed the way I thought. I dropped it behind the shed one summer. Forgot all about it. 3 years later, when I found it again, it was rotten, soft, useless, ready to crumble. But the boards I kept in the shop were different. I cut them. I planed them. I sanded them smooth. I worked them hard. And, in the end, those boards became something beautiful. They became part of a table that still stands in my home today. Life is like that. If you choose comfort, you rot. If you choose the hard work of intention, you grow strong. That is why chasing satisfaction through ease is a trap. It weakens you. It leaves you restless. It turns you into that forgotten board behind the shed. But carrying the weight of responsibility, accepting the struggle, letting life cut and sand and shape you, that is what makes you whole. So here is the question. Which board do you want to be? The one left outside to rot, or the one shaped into something that lasts? As I say this, I am not pretending it is easy. Every day, temptations to choose lifestyle are loud. The ads on television, the social media feeds, the shiny images that whisper, "You need more. You deserve more." But satisfaction does not come from more. It comes from enough. And enough only happens when you choose life over lifestyle. That is the first real shift toward contentment. Not denying yourself joy. Not living in poverty for its own sake, but deciding that what matters most is meaning, not appearances. Once you make that shift, the rest of your choices begin to line up. Money stops being the measure of success. Relationships begin to take their rightful place. and satisfaction slowly grows roots in your heart. This is where I want to take you next. Because once you see the difference between life and lifestyle, you must answer a deeper question. What do you truly want your life to mean? And how do you want to be remembered when your time is done? When I was younger, I thought the question was simple. What do I want to do when I grow up? But now, at 67, I see that the deeper question is this. Who do I want to become when my days are done? That shift changes everything. Because careers rise and fall, bank accounts fill and empty. But the person you become, that is what echoes in the lives around you. So ask yourself, what kind of man or woman do you want to be remembered as? Not because you crave fame, not because you want statues or headlines, but because you want to live in a way that honors your soul. For me, the answer always came back to values. And the first value was family. I will never forget holding my first child in the hospital. In that moment, the weight of fatherhood hit me like a hammer. Every choice I made from then on was no longer just about me. It was about him, about giving him what I had and what I never had, about protecting him from the mistakes I made. That is the sacred call of being a father. It is not glamorous. It will not make you rich, but it is the foundation of any life worth living. If you did not have a father growing up, I know the wound is deep, but I want to tell you something. You can become the father you never had. You can break the cycle. You can choose to stand present in the lives of your children. And in doing so, you heal not only them, but yourself. The second value that shaped me was friendship. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I will show you your future. Because we become like the people we spend the most time with. If you want to grow, choose friends who stretch you. Older men, wiser women, people who will challenge you, not just comfort you. I am grateful for the mentors who corrected me, who called me out when I was wrong, who showed me by example how to stand tall in the face of hardship. Those friendships saved me, and I would not be the man I am today without them. The third value was boundaries. Life is too short to let toxic relationships drain you. If a relationship is healthy, nurture it. Water it like a plant. But if a relationship is toxic, you must set limits. And sometimes, the healthiest limit is distance. That is not cruelty. That is survival. Now, how do we practice these values day by day? It starts with simple choices. Take care of your health. Eat with some discipline. Sleep enough. Move your body. You do not need to be an athlete. You just need to respect the body that carries you through life. Cut distractions. The phone, the endless scrolling, the constant noise of screens. I worry about my grandchildren growing up in a world where attention is stolen every minute. But I also worry about myself, because even at my age, YouTube and social media pull at me. If we do not set boundaries with our screens, they will consume the time we need for what truly matters. And then, there is work. Work is not just about doing what you love. That is a myth. The deeper question is, what can I do that will bring the most good to the most people? Because that is where true fulfillment hides. Think of the innovators who changed the world. They did not just chase passion. They chased impact. They asked, how can my work serve? How can it bless? How can it make life better for someone else? That is what makes even hard work meaningful. It is not about whether you love every task. It is about whether the task contributes to the bigger picture of who you want to be. Now let me share the climax of this lesson. Life will always tempt you with ease. The easy path, the soft chair, The quiet drift into comfort. But comfort left alone becomes decay. Think again of that board behind the shed. Left in the rain. Left in the sun. Forgotten. Rotten. That is the life of comfort without purpose. It feels safe. It feels easy. But slowly, it destroys you. Now picture the board in the shop. Cut. Planed. Sanded. Shaped with effort and intention. It does not look easy. It does not feel easy. But in the end, it becomes something strong. Something beautiful. Something that lasts. That is the choice in front of each of us, to rot in ease, or to be shaped through struggle. And here is the paradox. Satisfaction does not come from avoiding struggle. It comes from embracing it, from picking up the heaviest weight you can carry, and walking uphill with it. That is how we become who we were meant to be. Not by chasing every shiny promise of happiness, but by shouldering responsibility, by living intentionally, by choosing values over vanity, life over lifestyle. So the question is simple. Which board are you? The one outside, soft and forgotten, or the one inside, shaped into something that endures? So where does all of this leave us? It leaves us with a choice. Moment by moment, day by day, we get to decide who we are becoming. Not every choice is dramatic. Most are small. How we spend our evenings, who we spend them with, what we give our attention to. But those small choices add up. They shape the person you are at 70. They shape the memories people hold when you are gone. Do not fall for the lie that satisfaction is somewhere out there. In the next promotion, in the next paycheck, in the next vacation. Because once you reach it, you will only want more. Satisfaction is not a destination. It is a practice, a way of living. It is found in the daily decision to honor your values, to protect your relationships, to accept responsibility, and to keep your eyes on the person you want to become. I think often of my grandson. His name is Asher. When I see him holding a phone, glued to a screen, I feel a deep concern, because I know how strong the pull of distraction can be. If I struggle with it at 67, what chance does a child have without guidance? That is why it matters so much to live intentionally, not only for ourselves, but for those who come after us, your children, your grandchildren, your community. They are watching. They will inherit not just your money, but your example. So ask yourself, what do you want them to inherit? A pattern of distraction, a chase after more, or a steady picture of a life lived with meaning? Remember this: you can have anything you want, but you cannot have everything you want. So choose wisely. Choose what matters most. Choose to be the board shaped in the shop. Choose to bear the weight that gives you strength. Choose to be remembered as someone who lived with purpose. And if you feel discouraged, if you feel like you have wasted too much time, hear this: it is never too late to start. Every moment is a chance to turn, to reset, to realign with your values. So take that step today. Put down the distraction. Look someone you love in the eyes. Tell them the truth. Spend time in gratitude. And remind yourself who you want to be at the end of your life. Because that is where satisfaction is found. Not in the endless chase, but in the intentional choice. Moment by moment, day by day. Thank you for walking with me through these reflections. If something here stirred you, share it. Leave a comment with your own story, because someone else may need to hear what you have lived. Until next time, keep your eyes on what matters, live with intention, and keep up the good work.